Let's get your Streamlabs green screen going from this to something like this. And we'll begin underneath sources by clicking the plus button and finding video capture device to add your camera if you haven't already. Obviously just hit add source, give it an optional name if you want, hit add source again. Make sure you find the correct one from the list, and we're likely going to have to make some changes. So you can see mine's been added in 480p, that's not useful, so we're going to change it to 1080p. Underneath resolution, I'll change it to custom. Then underneath the next resolution option, I'll change it to 1920 by 1080. I'll change the FPS to 60. The rest of these settings should be fine, so I'll press close. Now you can see I'm nice and crisp in 1080p. Now before we add the green screen effect, let's talk about the two key things here. Firstly, and most importantly, is your lighting. You can see my green screen is nice and evenly lit in the background. If you can't get your green screen well lit, then it might mean that your green screen effect does not look very good. Of course, to add to that, the camera quality can also affect it, so make sure you've got a decent webcam or camera. I'll put links to what I use in the description. You'll also notice part of my shot here is not my green screen, so let's crop that out. I'm going to click on the camera source. I'm going to hold Alt on my keyboard. Then I'm just going to drag this square until it is just the green screen showing. I'll click off. We can see it's now been fixed. So let's add our green screen effect underneath the video capture device or your camera, whatever you've named it. Just right click it, look for the filter option. For some reason, sometimes it's missing inside Streamlabs, so if yours is missing like mine, just close and reopen it. So now I've right clicked it, I've got the filters option, click on edit filters, and after clicking add filter, there'll be a lot on this list. We just have to scroll down and look for chroma key, there it is. Rename it if you want and press add. Now if I move this to the side, you can see that it's not perfect using the default settings. If it is for you, that's great, just press close. But usually we have to tweak the similarity, smoothness, and the key color spill reduction. Usually the other options are fine. Now, of course, I've done this in the past, so I know roughly 460, 50, and 1 is settings that work for me. You will likely have to just spend a few minutes playing around with it and press close once you're happy. Now, just quickly, I re-added my camera, so I'm just going to hold Alt and drag it again. There we go. Now, obviously, you want to either add a background if you're using it for like a webcam, or add your gameplay like a display capture. So underneath sources, click the plus button. If you want to add what's going on your computer, click on display capture. For me, we'll use it like a webcam, so either add an image in the background or a media file. We'll add the media file that you saw earlier, so I'll click add source, rename it if you want. I'll make sure it's looped. I'll click on browse to find it. I'll click on the correct one and I'll press close. You can see I've now disappeared. Underneath sources, I have to drag the media file or the image or the gameplay beneath the camera. That's now all set up. If you want to resize the camera, of course, just click on the camera source and drag the corners. Whoops. Click on the camera source and drag the corners to resize yourself. For example, if you are gaming, you might want something like this where you're just in the corner.